And we are live here with Mr. Ensmere in my dining room, coming at you with another computer science video for strings in Python, part 2. All right, so we're going to start with a couple of miscellaneous commands. These two we have mentioned before, the ORD and CHR. So the ORD and CHR commands allow you to access, you didn't see that, wrong letter, access both the ASCII and Unicode alphabets. You might remember us talking about this maybe a month or two, 2 months ago or so. So for example, in ASCII, the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, 65 is the capital letter A. And so, for example, if I were to print the CHR, in other words, the character of 65, that will give me A, because it's saying what is character 65. If I want to go the opposite way, if I want to say what is the code for the letter A, I would do that. CHR and ORD are inverse commands of each other. And again, you might remember us doing this. If you want to look up an ASCII number or a Unicode number, you can just simply look it up online. You can just Google like ASCII table or something like that, Unicode table, and it'll give you that. The one and only number you should know off the top of your head is this one. That's why I'm going to put it here. That would be 65. So if we were doing a for loop, let's say, for, let's do n in range 65 to 91. So 65 is letter A, capital letter A. 91 is 26 letters later. So A to Z, essentially, 65 to 90. If I print what's the character of n, that's going to give me every letter in the alphabet, capital A to Z. And then I'm also going to do an end equals quote, quote. So they go left to right. And just to show you what this gives you, it gives you all the letters A to Z, because you went through a for loop numerically, starting at 65, ending at 90. Remember, it's really 90, not 91, because there's always one more past that. And so that's one way to print all the letters in the alphabet without printing all the letters in the alphabet. All right, next. To print the date and time stamps. So there is a import that you can do to access the current computer clock's date and time. So first, you have to go up top here, and you have to say from date time, all one word, import star. And again, this gives you access to the date time. So if I come down here and I say print the entire thing, give me the date time dot now. So literally right now, left and right parenthesis, close that off, and so this will give you the current time and date stamp, or date time stamp. And now I need to put an extra print in there. Give me one extra print here after the for loop's over. So let the for loop end, and then untab, go back to that, hit run. So let's try this out now. There we go. Date and time stamp. Now, what are you looking at? Well, when I'm recording this, it is January 30th, 2021, Saturday. So there's the year, the month, the day. It is currently 3:52:48, and then hundreds, thousands, millions of seconds from there. If you want to access part of that, well, to access one part of the date time stamp, you can say date time dot now, and then dot, let's say hour. And I'll try and run this. 15. Now, it is in military time. If it was above 12, you could mod it to go back. Now, I could say, if you're doing the AM, PM, You could do something like mod by 12. 15 mod 12 goes in one time with a remainder of 3. So for those of you that aren't familiar with military time, 1500 hours is 3 o'clock. So currently it is 3:54 p.m., hence 1500 hours. But again, when we mod by 12, which is the way clock arithmetic works, it's just the remainder when divisible by 12. It's the cyclical cycle of the clock. So neat little thing. You can also do what is the date time now dot, year. So there's lots of things you do: year, hour, minute, second, lots of different times. Hour, day, year, minute, et cetera, et cetera. So try whatever you'd like, and you can set those into a variable, like you'd say minutes equals date time now dot minutes. So you could do that too, and then print minutes, and it'll give you 55 because right now it is 3:55. So lots of cool things you can do with that. You could find the time between two times, like do a timer between let's say 4 o'clock. Like you could have a countdown in a loop or something. You could say, well, how many minutes is it until 4 o'clock? Just as an example. So those are a couple of miscellaneous things. So let me switch gears, and the next thing I'm going to show you is probably the most critically important part of all this. And we're going to be doing some of this in class, but I want to deal with it here also. We are going to look at finding substrings. And in Python, we call these string slices. A slice is a part of a list, but strings can be thought of as lists of characters. So we've done lists and dictionaries. Remember, in lists, things are numbered 0 through whatever, right? The length of the word -1, the length of the list -1. Strings are set up the same way. Strings are treated like lists of characters. So the first character in a string is ~0. The last character, if you remember from the last video we did, the len command, the length command, the last character in a string is the bracket length of the string -1. In a, my name is 9 letters. It goes from 0 to 8. 9 minus 1 is 8. Okay, so let's do word. Word equals, I don't know, computer. Okay, so if I print word 0, if I print word len word -1. Oops, I didn't print it. It says word. Should be print word. Sorry. Print word, bracket, length of word -1. So check this out. It gives you the C in computer and the R in computer. Some of the coding bat problems you're going to be asked to do are going to ask you, compare the first and the last or something like that. So you could do that. You could say something like first letter equals word ~0. Last letter equals word bracket length of word -1. And then if first letter double equals last letter, then print the first and last letters are the same. Now, of course, this is not going to print that, but let's just quickly change this. And the nice thing is I didn't put in anything specific, just like a list. I can put any word there, and it doesn't matter how big it is because I did it generically. 0 will always be the left, but the length is the one on the right. So you don't put in specifically 8 because you could change it. So if I do something like, who knows? What can I type? Man, nothing is coming to mind. You're probably all shouting like, how about radar? That's a palindrome. So of course the first and last letters are the same. Radar, the first and last letters are the same. So it's little things like that that really gets us into some of the more advanced string things. You can get individual characters here. Again, these are treated like lists. So if you want part of a list, you use the brace colon brace. You put a number like 0:3 or something like that. Strings are the same way. To get the first 3 letters, you could do like first 3 equals word bracket 0 colon now. Once again, this is where you gotta be careful. It's not 4. Think about this. The first letter is 0. So 0. Look at my fingers in the lower corner screen. 0. 1, 2. That's the first 3. Are you going to put 0 to 2? No, you're not. No, you're not. Because the final number is not inclusive. So 0 to 3 is going to give you the first 3. Okay. Got to be careful about that. R-A-D, rad. Just like me. Yeah, you thought I was going to say this class. But yes, this class and me. All right, so to get the last 3 letters. All right, now when I do this, I mean I'm going from left to right. I'm not going to do from the right to the left. So like in radar, the last 3 letters are D-A-R, not R-A-D. All right, last 3 equals word. All right, so something colon something. What you gonna put? Well, the length of the word minus 3 up to the length of the word, which, again, think about this. You're not going to put a -1 there because in a word of length 5, the last character is 4, but the final thing in the square brackets is not inclusive. So it does go to word. It goes to the length of the word. So is this going to give me dar? It helps if I printed it. You silly boy. Let's try this again. Come on. There we go. These are the things we're going to be looking at in the couple programs I'm going to ask you to do as well as next week. Because this gets into some of the word things like Hangman, Boggle, Scrabble, Words with Friends, things like that. Wheel of Fortune, anything really that involves manipulating a word somehow. I want to show you one final thing, and that would be concatenation, joining strings together. Each programming language has a different way of joining things together. In Visual Basic, they use the plus sign. In Java, they use the plus sign. In C++, they use a less than symbol. In Python, we've been using the comma, although you've noticed sometimes the spacing gets a little weird. Well, we can use the plus sign in Java too to join strings together. For example, I can do new word equals word plus quote ing. Print new word. So what have I just done? Well, the word is radar, and I've added ing. Well, guess what I'm going to get when I do that? I'm going to get radaring. Right? Is that a word? I don't know. But doesn't matter. So you use the plus sign to join these things together. You can't subtract. You can't subtract the word. You can add, though. You can add strings together to make new strings. And so we're going to be looking at that too because, you could strip off like half of one word, half of another, join them together. You could say connect this word with a space and then the space to another word, and then that's how you can make a sentence, things like that. So each of these skills I've just kind of touched on, we're going to be looking at more in class and next week. So Thank you for watching. Hope I wasn't too much of a goofball. Take care.